Alright, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome in. Let's go ahead and talk about HEX in this video, and more specifically, is it time for a turning point on the price chart? Why do I say that? Well, if you've been watching the channel for a while, then you know that we've been talking about this parallel channel for a few weeks. And the significance of this parallel channel can more easily be seen with the line chart. And you can see specifically the points where price held this channel as support as well as resistance, right? It's pretty clear on a line chart. It gets a little muddied with candle charts just because you have, wick data, but more or less you can see. And now you understand why I'm bringing this up specifically today, because look at where we are now, right? Price it did bubble above it for a little bit. You could say it was similar to back here. But look at where it's at now. It has come down and actually wicked down to our channel. Have we gone beneath the channel before? I mean, look at the chart. Obviously, there was a time here when we kind of scooped beneath it, formed this little sort of parabolic looking shape, sort of U shape. And then we also held it as resistance here and then broke beneath for a little longer. However, this was a crucial turning point back here. We highlighted it in the video. So are we at a crucial turning point? It's significant in my opinion, not as significant as something like this level back here, the 1.3 pennies, which was horizontal support and exponential support. We'll get into the regression rainbow model shortly, but for now, the TA side of things is the fact that we are coming down to test this now. Now we've had a wick to it, we haven't necessarily had a candle body touch it. That would correspond to 11.4 cents, but we actually did wick beneath it, right? Our low was 10.8 cents. Now, HEX likes to have these textbook breakouts and retests like this region over here, or you could even say like this region back here. And there have been plenty of times you can point out, if we looked at the history of the chart, where you had very clean resistance zones, very clearly defined, and then once we held them as support, it was a textbook signal to blast off. And again, we saw that up here at around the 6.7-ish penny region. Very clearly defined support for this ascending triangle, very clearly defined, resistance for this ascending triangle, and support for these retests, followed by a continued move up. Now, this sort of wick obviously faked everyone out, but we have tested 10.8 cents, and the high back here was about 10 cents. So if you draw another one of these sort of rays, you can kind of see that we are quickly approaching. So again, I was telling you guys yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised to see a further dip into these regions, which are the 10 to 11 penny regions, especially because we have an event coming up, which is the end of sacrifice phase for Pulse Chain. So it would make sense, similar to Big Payday back here, where you kind of had a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. Again, buy the rumor. Buy the rumor, by the way, was this whole thing, starting from about 2 to 3 pennies all the way to like 20 pennies. A nice 10x buy the rumor, and only about a 50% sell the news. So, I mean, I'm content with that. I don't know about you, but this looks good to me. The fact that we're coming back down and hold this as support makes me bullish and makes me wonder, is it time for a turning point? Because, we've seen recently fake outs where price comes down beneath these moving averages. We've talked about these as well, and then comes back up above them, and it doesn't spend too long beneath it. And more often than not, when we're beneath these two moving averages, it's generally a good time to accumulate or start buying up more if you're a buyer, right? Cheap prices, who likes them? Buyers. Who likes high prices? Sellers. So if you're crying about low prices, you probably want it to sell, right? So hold your horses. Patience is a virtue, not financial advice, obviously never on this channel, but I did want to point out the fact that things are looking bullish to me. I think this might be in retrospect, I think this might be a clear reaccumulation zone. And it's a turning point, right? Because if we actually break beneath this channel, you've seen what happens before. It's not terrible, but it's not pretty, right? You have a continued dip, and then you hold it as resistance. So if we hold this, which I think is more likely than not, personally, just my opinion, right? Not financial advice. I have no clue what's going to actually happen. But let's say we were to have a continued run into the top of the channel again, maybe hitting 26 upper levels, 26, 30 plus cents, then it would look something like this. However, I do think if we were to not significantly, but I think if we were to decisively to decisively break this level, then it might be resistance next time we came around, and it might do something similar to last time when it only took like a couple tries for it to finally break, but anything can happen. It could be a bounce from here, or it might be a continued move down followed by a bounce, right? So a bunch of things could happen, really. Anything could happen. I do think these levels are significant though, and I pointed out how in that analysis just there. So kind of finishing up with the TA side of things, let's get into some QA, some quantitative analysis with the charts on LookIntoHex.com. Let's start with the regression rainbow because we stopped showing love to the equidistant model after we created the Fibonacci model. But if you look at the equidistant model, then price is currently coming back down to the yellow region, right? The extension from fit is at our yellow level. And you can see it more so on the actual price chart right here. So we've been oscillating around yellow on this chart specifically for a couple months, ever since May. You can see we went above it, beneath it, resistance, above it, beneath it, resistance, above it, and now we're maybe holding it as support. So just looking at the similarities between this HEX extension from fit and the Ether one is kind of eye-opening, right? Because there are times when it's overperforming relative to the same historical window, times where it's underperforming, overperforming, and now we came back down to, it looks like, underperforming if you look at the ETH extension from fit. But I do think that this fractal still has legs in probability space to happen. That's just me, right? But I do think that these charts look similar enough to where I wouldn't be surprised to see a continued move up into these upper regions. Again, nothing goes up in a straight line. And here's our Fibonacci model, which the yellow has broken actually. And we're currently in a little above the mid band between orange and yellow. So, I mean, things look okay. I think things look all right. Again, this is sort of a macro version, in my opinion, of these sort of moves, right? That's why I keep calling it a fractal, because this could pretty much play out in a more extended and, I was thinking, less volatile way, but it's looking like it's more volatile, funny enough, just with the magnitude of these moves on this chart, if you can tell. But yeah, things look good to me in the macro, right? Obviously, downside risk, I outlined in a previous video. I think we were at like 12 cents or something, and I was saying, downside risk, maybe 10-20% down to these 10-11 penny regions. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It would actually be a textbook retest of these levels, and it would actually give me further confidence that we saw move something like this, right, where we actually have candles break beneath our moving averages, kind of fake us out for a couple days. We've seen that before, or maybe even longer, maybe a week or so, a more extended accumulation phase. But rather, you see something like that, and then generally speaking, that's a great time to accumulate, and you see a further move to the upside. So again, I'm, I guess, cautious short term, but overall medium and long term still very bullish. I think there's a lot of demand and social indicators that are finally coming into the ecosystem to tell us, what, people are changing their minds on this crypto. They're finally seeing what it was built for, finally understanding it for the first time, and being open-minded enough to learn the details of what it actually is. And the chart does a great job at incentivizing people to want to learn about what it is, because they see, why are these people making such insane gains? Like, what's up with that? And then a part of their brain says, well, maybe I'm not in it for the tech, right? Maybe I'm not in it for the tech. Maybe I actually did want to make money. And when they look at their portfolio and they see that they didn't, they're like, well, now they start questioning, right, their actual motives. So I think HEX is very honest in the sense that it was designed to accrue value, like businesses, right? And that's what cryptos are good at. They're good at 1,000xing, 1,000,000xing, right? We've seen it. And HEX is already up, a lot of X's, as we saw in our recent max ROI chart. Now, still sitting at a nice 3,867x. It's a little too big. 3,867, boom. And again, the time between all-time highs is actually getting smaller, it looks like, right? Recently, it's been only we did this in yesterday's video, but it looks like 20 days between all-time highs there, 30 days or so between all-time highs there, and another 30 days between all-time highs there. And it's only been about 12 days 12 to 15 days since all-time highs. So, I mean, I wouldn't expect this to break like immediately. It could, but it would actually be the shortest time before seeing all-time highs in terms of all of these sort of flat periods. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we didn't see an all-time high for another week or two maybe. So yeah, it's easy to normalize all-time highs like every single week or day, but there comes a time when you definitely do have to go flat for a while. Although we're close, right? Our 10,000x design is right here. It looks like we're knocking on its door. Just another 3x away on this chart, meaning tripling our previous all-time high of like 20-ish cents. So about 56 to 60 penny region, and we'd be hitting our actual design intention, which I think is modest. I honestly think HEX was designed to go higher than 10,000x, but 10,000x is just what's advertised. Because if you advertise something like 1,000,000x, people would just like scream scam even louder. Just, I don't know, you have to work around some of these things sometimes, but hey, it's doing well. I think it's doing well. I'm content. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. Don't forget that the pulse chain sacrifice ends in about 3 days and 3 hours. So when you're watching this video, it's probably 3 days until it's over. However, in about 3 hours, the volume curve goes flat. So you can pretty much learn all about that at pulsechain.com. Let me pull that up for you real quick. This is what it looks like. And it says here explicitly that the ranked volume bonus is over in about 3 hours, meaning everyone gets a flat 1.75x bonus, whereas in the previous 16, 17 days, you got between a 1 and a 2.5x based on your actual size, the capital that you sacrificed. So I will leave a link in the description to all the pulse chain stuff. It's always down there in these pulse chain videos and some HEX videos too. This was actually a HEX video. Whoops. But yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting something I was going to say. Oh, right. Twitter.com/LookIntoHex if you don't follow that already. Let me pull that up for you guys as well, because I actually keep you guys updated on things like that volume bonus rollover, right? If you go to LookIntoHex, thank you guys for the 440 followers. And I actually shared this last night saying there's 24 hours left until the volume curve flattens to 1.75x, meaning that sacrifices from the little guys, quote unquote, less than $500,000 in size, may see better rates in these next 3 days, right? If they wait another 3 hours, they might see better rates according to not only our charts on lookintohex.com/sacrifice, but consolidating this with this table that was actually made by a community member, which allows you to see kind of what the time and volume curve look like based on different volume profiles, meaning how big is your stack and when are you personally better off sacrificing in terms of these curves, assuming a stable value. Because when you introduce your favorite coin that actually moves in value, that changes everything. But assuming a stable amount of value you want to sacrifice, these are your friends right here, these charts. So again, follow Twitter.com/lookintohex. I'm trying to grow this as a sort of a brand for the graphs and the data analytics aside from my face, right? Something that can live on without me. You can know about lookintohex.com, have no clue who I am. I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, guys, if you enjoy this, subscribe, leave a thumbs up, comment down below what you think. I always love reading your comments. I always read them. So once again, appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.